Good Lord. I just brushed it like 100 times. But then it gets stuck on stuff and it pulls and it hurts and I don't like that part. I'm not used to having hair. I've only been a long hair twice in my life and I'm an old lady. So I'm trying to acclimate. This is my compromise. As long as I don't have this stuff, I can keep this stuff. Because if I had this stuff and this stuff, no, I can't do that. I'm a hothead. I'm a hothead. Things are getting pretty spicy kitty out there, aren't they? Out there on the planet Earth. I keep getting these epiphanies. It just tells me that the no place space is percolating. The land of the ethers where all the data is held, all the information is kept, the Akashic record, so to speak. So I keep getting these epiphanies, and I haven't read the Bible all the way through. I'm trying really hard to. As a discipline. But I feel like I'm disciplined in all these other areas in my life. So over here I can slack. And that's not how being a disciplined person is. You gotta be disciplined all the time. You just can't pick and choose and it sucks. But I had this in the belly of a whale. Okay? In the belly of the whale. I had that, and I've often, because I'm always looking at the sky. At night, I'm looking at the sky. Daytime, I'm looking at the sky. I'm always looking at the sky. I'm looking at the clouds. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at wind currents, because certain clouds can tell you it's windy over the mountains. Like, weather tells us stuff, you know. And then we look at the stuff that it tells us, like, you know, we're gonna get snow. Sure we are. No, you know, we're gonna get snow. Sure we are. Well, we got snow last night. We got about 5-6 inches, enough to make it hard for people. Enough for, like, I got to go out and shovel for Luna today, because her legs are about that long and she can't get in the snow is deeper than her legs, and she's the last little dog I got left to do that for. I might get more dogs one day, God willing, and the creek don't rise. I just have to wait till I get to. I have to be disciplined and wait. So, yeah, things are getting all crazy. I just wrote a comment on Joni Patri. She's a Vedic astrologer that I track her. I appreciate her wisdom. She's a Leo, so she's all flashy. But I'm flashy because I'm Pisces and Venus. Venus and Pisces. I say things backwards. I'm a contrarian. So she has a talk that's coming on, premieres at 9:30 for the astrological warning of the same planets as 9/11. And I said, I was stationed at Offutt Air Force Base that day. See, when it's so weird when you look at it like this, it says one thing, but when I go to edit, it was different. I was stationed at Offutt Air Force Base on. No wonder people think I'm an idiot that day. I don't proofread either. I flipped baby Bush, the bird, out the aid shop hangar door. That was when I figured out DC and Hollywood are the same. Both exist to create a contrived reality by using woo-woo, then saying woo-woo doesn't exist. As a female veteran, I find people's faith in America. That's where we live now. We live in America. Little M, E-R, big I, big C, big K, little a. America. As a female veteran, I find people's faith in America amusing. Hey, okay, hey, have a rad day. Peace. So I called today's talk Seagull Sandwich. You ever heard of a seagull sandwich? It's a good story how the whole thing transpires. I love stories, man. Stories are so cool when they're real. I don't like made up bullshit. I don't know because there's too many freaking wild stories in real life, but they're all covered up, hidden under the veil of obscurity because, nepotism, basically. Because all the Spielbergs get, they designate who gets the good roles. And when I was a 12-year-old girl back in 1987, my father was a truck driver. And he was out about 100 miles outside of Phoenix, Arizona, and he was hauling culvert pipes. Those are those big tin pipes that go under the roads to keep the water from washing out the road. And there are 3 of them on them, and each of them, and then they had smaller ones inside, and each of them weighed 2,500 pounds. So that's 1 ton, and then 1/4 of another ton. And he was walking around the truck, and he said they didn't pack it on softwood, they packed it on hardwood. And he was checking the lines, and there was no give in the line, and the line snapped, and the pipes came down, rolling over the top of them. And they had to fly him to Phoenix, 100 miles out of Phoenix, in a helicopter. And then a month after it happened, I was only a 12-year-old girl. I lived with my mom in Northern California. They were long since divorced, or they were divorced before I was born. So I was a bastard. I didn't find out till I was 40. Funny how the truth always comes out. So they crushed his skull in 3 places. It like demolished his femur on one leg, and on the opposite leg it crushed his hips. But my dad's a machismo. Do you know what a machismo is? Machismos are running the country. Machismos are running the earth right now. My dad's 78, but in his day, he would have been the machismo. He would have been a state, he would have worked for the state, just doing what, hurting people because he's hurt and all this stuff. He's a machismo. So he got to live with his mommy and daddy. I say that because I never got to live with my mommy. I only got to live with my daddy. So his parents took him in because they always coddled him. They kept him out of trouble. Dude should have gone to prison probably 4 or 5 times over. But nepotism keeps people safe. Look at Biff. Look at Biff. The leader of the free world. That's what I call him. Other people call him Orange Man, Twinkie Toes, whatever. He's Biff in my heart. And I can identify a lot with Biff. Because he's a contrarian. He tries to get people to see things different. That's why all this stuff is happening. So America will get its ass up off the couch and actually put the game controller down and maybe do something. I don't know. Go pick up some trash. Start with that. Then maybe learn how to use an excavator, move earth, build houses, chop wood, carry water, do useful shit, tangible things. No, you got the unuseful idiots that are all the next latest and greatest thing. Fake intelligence. We'll talk about that after a while. So back to the story about Dad's accident. So he had to go to a psychologist. And my dad and I, we didn't have a very good relationship because he hated me because he hated the feminine within himself. Hey, what's up? And that's what machismos do. They feel femininity and they want to do all the evil shit that they see men do in the movies, to overcompensate for wanting to be Little Spoon. Just be Little Spoon, it's cool. So he told me a story about a seagull sandwich. Now the version that I'm going to tell Because back when he told me there's no internet in '87, well, there's probably internet. Only the important people got to use it, you know. So he told me a story about how a mother and a daughter went to a restaurant, and the daughter was eating. I just realized I told this story. I just told the story wrong to my friend. Maybe she'll watch the talk and she'll get the actual, well, from what I remember, because I'm going off memory. Because he's like, the way he tells stories, he has long, well, he has a head injury, you know. It's hard for people, they got to remap their thought processes. It's like sinkholes, you know. Like, you know, on a road, the thought process used to go in this way and then it gets bashed in the head. Mom has them too. She has the same deficits. I can understand this. I empathize with it because, you know, this is my life. So, it was a mother and a daughter, and they were at a restaurant like Monterey or something like that. And the daughter was like, "Oh, look, they have a Seagull Sandwich on the special. I'm going to order that." And the mom was just kind of solemn, you know, just kind of, okay, you know, whatever. And then, like, they're talking and stuff. And then, because what it tells you, there's always backstory to things. Why people, this is what, because psychology, basically psychology exists. So people that like to be a part of a cog of control and domination, they can figure out, like, who they can use for their, it's just all, MK Ultra and all that stuff is just so unnecessary. It just so doesn't need to exist, you know. But they have to create havoc while saying we help you. They have to. They're contrarians. That's how I know what they're doing, because I am one of them. I just live from my heart, not my. I didn't sell my soul. I didn't sell out. That's all. I think just like Donald Trump, he's a Gemini. I have Gemini Saturn 29 degrees in my 12th house. I know how that man thinks. So I don't have to pay attention to how Biff thinks, because I already know. You know? Like Gemini, you get good stuff and you get bad stuff. It's polarity. It's life. And so, the food comes. The waitress brings over the food, sets it down, and then the daughter takes a bite of the sandwich. And as soon as she took a bite of the sandwich, she knew that her dad was dead. Now, backstory. Like, I can't remember the context if my dad, because I was a 12-year-old girl, that was like 40 years ago. Fucking shit. I was 12 years old 4 years ago, almost. Holy hell. So, backstory was they were on a deserted island when there was a plane crash. Mom, dad, and daughter were flying, you know, down, you know, doing what people do, and they'd have nothing better to do and have all the money in the world. So there's a plane crash, and the mother had told the daughter, little girl, she was much younger at the time, that daddy went off to help, because she didn't want to tell her daughter that her father died, you know, that the dad died. But then they didn't have food, so they had to utilize that. And dad, and they didn't want to tell, you know, mom didn't want to tell daughter that they're chomping on pop, so they just said, you know, she just told her it was a Seagull Sandwich. Now, why that? It's a story of him by itself, because it was my story on, like, how I was hanging out with my dad, that we didn't have a good relationship, but he told me the story, right? He actually gave me a Seagull Sandwich experience that I had the other day, because I had an epiphany. My dad's Freemasons, and they hate women. So women in the family are not safe, like, so to speak. Like, we're prone to accidents. My sister, Jessica, 6, was killed in an accident in 2022, and she was only 39. And it's not just so shitty that, you know, My sister died. She also died on her granddaughter's birthday and on her daughter's 18th birthday. So she had to leave her shit spread all over the women behind her, and that's how, blood, that's how, like, curses, seeds are planted. And so it was some years ago. I had a good job. I owned a house. I was starting to get my savings number account was starting to grow. I could go wherever. I was going wherever. I had freedom. I had financial independence. So I got to the place in my life where I could do anything I wanted, and I was starting to look at what I wanted to do. Because isn't that what life is about? Like doing whatever you want to do. It's just, what is it that people want to do? And people that have always been given everything, they just want to keep be given everything. They don't want to work for nothing, is what I found. I want to work for stuff. I want to find other people that want to physically work for stuff, because that is what keeps your body here on this earth. It's keeping it moving, keeping it mobile, keeping it healthy. And there's so many sick people, dying people, sad, so much loss, so much. Anyway, so Jessica got killed on a motorcycle accident in 2022. And back in probably 2008, when my dad was a truck driver, because he drove truck and then he got in an accident, and then he didn't drive truck for a number of years, but then in his 60s he went back to it. Because he's always got something to prove. And then, he wanted to, do it while he could. So he became a truck driver, and like, sometimes we'd pass through, because when I started recovery in Omaha, AA, I was directed, and I took the direction to call my dad every week. So we built a relationship I never had. What happened is, as soon as I stopped calling, he never called me again. It's not that I said, I'm not ever going to talk to my dad again. I just said, I'm never going to call him first again. Because I have my, and that's how when it's a one-sided relationship, there's all, the people that do nothing will find people to do everything for them. And it's exhausting for us people that do a lot of stuff. And so I said, I always wanted to have a motorcycle, because my dad rode motorcycles, like it was in my, like, when I was a little girl, I wanted a Yamaha YZ80, but I was like 9, 10. I thought my parents would like maybe pull together, and Mom just played a mean joke on me, said, hey, go in the backyard for my birthday. And she's like, your last present's in the backyard. And I went in the backyard, opened the door, like in my mind, it was like that Mom and Dad like hated each other, but they liked me enough to pull resources to get me a bike. That's what was in my heart. And then I opened it up, and then I'm looking around, and I don't see what I'm looking for, and I look down, and there's a little toy motorcycle. I was crushed, because it was the dream in my mind. So I started to focus more on, if I'm going to picture something in my mind, imagine something in my mind, and making it tangible, from mind to matter, I'm going to do it for things that are going to, that. Anyway, so I come from a background of, like, my grandpa rode a harp, because they're all ego. That's all ego stuff. It's vibrational frequency. It makes them, like, it's the vibration that makes them, it's like, it's so weird, like, why people are driven to do the things that they do. They feel, it's the rolling thunder. It's just, it gets people excited, so they do things to excite themselves. But what they need to do is freaking get quiet and connect to, a higher power that says, don't cause harm. Don't be an evil bastard. So, I was going to buy a Harley. I was going to buy one, like a fat tail, because I was in recovery. I was surrounded by people, that had Harleys, like, like I could be a part of a club. I'd be part of a group. I found my niche, whatever. And my dad said to me, he said, it was the weirdest thing. He said, you don't need to get a motorcycle. I said, oh yeah, why? He said, because people like you die on motorcycles. And that was my Seagull Sandwich moment that I had, like, when I was telling my friend Fragine about the Seagull Sandwich story the other day. And that's, my sister got killed on a motorcycle accident and they're Freemasons. So he told me before my sister died on a motorcycle that I shouldn't get a motorcycle because people like me die. And then my sister got killed on a motorcycle accident. And I am not supposed to not, I mean, dude, even if I was real stupid, I would see a big old red flag in that. I'm only a little stupid. I'm kind of dumb. They said, I know my horoscope said that I shouldn't say I'm stupid. I shouldn't say that. My horoscope legitimately said that the other day. Sometimes I'll take screenshots of them. This one says, you tend to be right. With Jupiter in Pisces, you possess a powerful intuition that I have powerful intuition, but you can't read. Well, I am in New Mexico. And there's 29% of New Mexico can't read, so maybe because I live in New Mexico, I'm losing my ability to read. Your ability to perceive subtle undercurrents makes you uncannily accurate, but it can also make you seem ungrounded at times. Well, I don't have any earth in my chart, so that is probably why I seem ungrounded at times. Because I'm always out there in the nose play space. I'm always in my head, and that is how universes are created. And the more I don't like how things are out there, the more I'm in here, like, trying to make out there match in here, because in here is better than out there. You know? Mercury's favorable transit clears away any doubt others might have had about your perceptiveness. See, but based on like attracts like, people don't find my channel because not a lot of people are like me. Marge has been traveling around a long time trying to find her tribe, trying to be a part of other people's groups, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna make my own. This is stupid. They're dumb. Like this. These are a lot of people who are there. This is 1974. This is that PDF document, an educational journal, fall 1974, volume 95, volume 1, number 1, Pi Kappa Psi fraternity. And you look at this, it's 144 pages. It has, because these are all the people who are in charge then, so it's the relatives of these people that are the scapegoats now, or they're leading the country. Scapegoated or leading. Either they're going with the program that Washington, D.C., which is an extension of Hollywood, want the masses of America to believe how things are, so they can steal all of our money and have butt stuff parties in their back rooms. Tracking? Let me know if you're following. So, when I was, I'm going to move on to the selfish. I found a picture of Mom I haven't seen before. Isn't that cute? Well, she's such a cute little lady. I'm trying to make her hair look like this now, but her hair is thinning. I'm getting close. I wonder if she wants bangs. I could try to give her bangs. I could do that. I cut my own hair. Getting pretty good at it. Okay, so back when I went to college, I graduated in 2006. I enlisted to go to college. I didn't enlist to go to war. I didn't enlist to do all the bullshit that the TV told me. You know, because I didn't like parades to begin with and fireworks and all that. Big crowds are just, dude, if they're going to gather like that, why can't they gather to do something useful, like build houses? Like, dude, I remember that show, Extreme Home Makeover. They would do that in a week. You know, like you could do something to build houses in days, 2 days, you know, and just go to the people on the street, be like, hey, you come with me. We got a place for you. You know, you decompress because you got a freaking, you know, you got so much PTSD, it's going to take a while to get that vibrational frequency out of you. It can come out because I had it in me. See, I've had so much bad stuff happen in my life. And if I can still smile with all my pretty teeth, I don't even have the I'm mad at my mom missing tooth. That's what I call that one. When that tooth is missing, I call that I'm mad at my mom. Because your teeth represent things. Like if you're unhealthy, it shows in your mouth. And even in like the teachings that I've come across, the top teeth are your relationship with your mom, and your bottom are with your father. And like if you notice kids that had, like me, I had horrific things happen to me when I was a 10-month-old baby, 3 years old, like in my life, like I disassociate. They want us to disassociate, so we live in a disassociated place. But I still have to live on planet Earth because I take care of mom. So I got to do all those principled things that people do to live a nice, orderly life, you know, so that they stay decent and not become the scumbags and the drudges of society, you know, the shit stains on the fabric of society that are running everything. But I just have to allow, because I, you know, go, like, it's cool to see people standing up, you know. It's like they stoke the fire, they do a fucking bullshit event, and then that stokes the emotions on the fire. And they do it on days that people are more prone to be extra emotional, like full moons and closer to full, and now Cancer full moon, you know, all this stuff. Yeah, everybody's just in their emotions. Capricorn season, you know, like people want to do stuff, they can't. All this stuff is going on. So, like, I got mad when I was a kid and learned how to stick up for myself. Because I had to learn how to speak because of the trauma that I had. I was a funny talker. My teeth were all fucked up because of the trauma that I had. And so these are all the things that I had to evolve. Still, I could get rid of that shit while collecting trauma as I get older. Right? And what I found is you let it go. You just, because when you get a thought and it makes you, and you get that tightening in your body and that wincing, you know, that is what causes cancer. That's when I pick up my weights, I lift weights, you know. I don't really walk because I got bad feet. It's hard for me to walk. I wish I could walk. I try. I went out and shoveled snow so I can walk. It's just, everything hurts. So back when I was in college in Bellevue University, they had a signature series. Okay. Let's see here. Ed. They had a series that everybody that took maybe you probably had to do it for like all the degree programs, I would guess, but I was in business information system, which basically was a umbrella, and under that umbrella, I wish I would have cut that piece of paper, because it even said business information. It had an umbrella, and then it had underneath it had AI, it had like desktop support, it had network management, right? Now I'm of the variety that wherever I work, even when I worked at Chevy's Mexican restaurant, is that I didn't want to just know one facet of the game. I wanted to know everything. So I would do every position except I didn't. When I worked at Chevy's, you had to wear skirts. I wouldn't do that. So it took me 3 years to fucking move up from busser because I wouldn't wear the wedding dress. I wouldn't do it. It was like I felt like I was in drag if I were in. It wasn't comfortable. I didn't like it. I wasn't gonna do it. And then they changed the uniform, and I was a server for like 3 months, and then they fired me. That's okay. I was better at as a busser because I disassociate. You know, when things get loud, I start tuning into everybody around me, and it's hard for me to tune out that, and I just got to do what I need to do. So, the other day when I was talking about walking in the shadows of giants, a pretty cool guy that I got to meet, he was my professor in the Signature series. And not only was he the professor for the Signature series, he also wrote the book, so it's all like marketing. Everything's a club, it's all schmooze, you know. But he wrote this book. It's called American Vision and Values, a companion to the Kirkpatrick Signature series. That's what the Signature series was called, the Kirkpatrick Signature series. And his name is Dr. Edward A. Rawhut. Green Cock Chair, Director, Center for American Vision and Values. He was my teacher. And the funny part is I was in the military. I was just getting out. I finished my last class with him 10 days before the end of my enlistment, and that was my whole goal. Because in my mind, I wanted to finish, and I got my associates and my bachelor's degree in less than 4 years. And in '87, they said I was autistic, and I thought they meant artistic, so I just started drawing. And then people started calling me retard, and I didn't understand why. And then they take me out of my class with my friends, and they put me in another class, and I didn't know why. People are always jerking me around. Go over there, do over there. And then I enlisted so I could take care of mom. But I got cool. I got rewards because this guy was my teacher. I think I'm gonna order this book. And what we would do is we would read like Plato, and we would read like Machiavelli. And I was like, hey, that's a Tupac album. And then I started seeing how there are these stories, and there's this frequency of like-minded people that use these stories to navigate the world, while creating another world for people outside of it. And I started figuring out my brother was one of them. But he threw us away, so he did us a favor. Because I can't be associated with people that hit women and do all that stuff. And they want me to get mad at me if I express my feelings of how I felt, you know, of just a 16-year-old girl having to fucking fight her brother off, who was a state wrestling champion, from slamming her head in because that's what he did. So I guess I got a little head injury of my own. Anyway, so I actually did YouTube talks because because of the teachings that he gave me. Because there's I think it's by Plato. I think isn't Allegory of the Cave? Isn't that a Plato? Isn't that Plato? Allegory of the Cave, allegory of the cave. Okay, allegory of the cave is a philosophical concept story presented by the Greek philosopher Plato in Book 7 of his work in the Republic to illustrate the effects of education on the human soul and the nature of reality. It describes prisoners who have spent their lives chained in a cave only to be able to see the shadows on the wall, which they believe is the ultimate reality. The allegory explores the journey from ignorance to knowledge, the difficulty of accepting new truths, and philosophers' duty to enlighten others. Well, I guess you could say I'm a philosopher because what I'm trying to, I had done talk, I'm going to guess, I guess I'll reiterate it here now, called Algorithm of the Cave. And it's no different than the people at the end putting their little characters. All they did is they put little characters at the end of the cave, and when the sun went over, it cast the shadow of the character. There weren't even, people were off fishing, playing, having their rituals, doing whatever. But they kept people in the cave by thinking people were standing over them. That, I exist to freaking help people tear down the veil. And the more, see, this makes me a little apprehensive. I don't like attention. I really don't. I know it seems like I'm a seeking attention individual. The reality of it is most people, when you're like me, I'm invisible. Because I walk through town and people will go out of their way to ignore me. Because I'm a light being. I am a light and airy, fluffy, happy lady. And how the fuck can I be this way in a world like this? So I must be crazy. No, I have coping skills. And I want to give all of my coping skills to anybody that is willing to listen to me so that they can have coping skills too. Take anything good I say, anything that you don't like that I say, leave that. It doesn't matter. I listen to people. I went to bed listening to Do It. I can't. This guy makes my third eye twitch. The Leo Cub, I give him power because I know one day I'm going to cross paths with that kid. Because he acts like he's so, I can't stand fake people. And when people act like they're so big and all I see is they're trying to cover up their insecurities because that is what I have done. And that is how I see it in other people. Because I have been where you are. I just see the consequences of that. And I don't want to see the kid lead down a freaking egomaniacal, put a stupid brain chip in his brain path. Because he has a lot to offer. He does. He's a smart kid. He just has a lot of growing up to do. And if he's not willing to even listen to people like me, what the fuck kind of teacher, leader bullshit when I'm the one that was in Airman Leadership School? He was the one that dodged his commitment. He's a draft dodger, he might as well be. How is it different to get yourself kicked out of the military than it is to stay out of the, he's that's avoidant behavior. And then he sicked AI on me. In a Twitter post. AI, find this person the narcissistic number because we're all narcissists and it's ego and spirit. And it's how often people spend their time and what they're doing with their time and how they're making their decisions based on their, are you living in that lower vibrational frequency of conferences in Sedona? Because I look at that as low vibe. Because I watch a lot of TikTok, and so I just track. I'm a processor. I'm processing data all the time. I'm constantly processing data. And I use weather here, all over the world. I'm a human computer. And so I see TikTok homeless population in Sedona. Okay? Then I hear how, they have dogs and stuff. Like, why can't Sedona, with all of its, spiritual fucking brilliantness and all of its infinite wisdom, why can't they make a place like I want to make where I live, where travelers can come with their dogs, make, cook. I want to see other people do this too. I will give everyone my ideas, and then I don't even think that when I see this stuff manifesting in the world that people are stealing I don't fucking care. You know why? Because as long as it does good, I don't even care if people give credit where credit due, because I know what I've been talking about for years, and that these are the things that are like, all I have to do, people have to do, not me. I need to switch that to general terms. People, it would behoove people. Let me say that. It would behoove people if that they recognized that our currency is our heartbeat. What we do with our heartbeat is our currency. Okay? It's not money in a wallet. It's not a freaking crypto some gadget on a screen that if the power goes out, you can't get to anyway. I just keep seeing flashes. Anyway, so I want to make a place, a travel center where I make these stickers too. Straight people like rainbows too. I give them to people. I'm a pick your price person. Like, if I'm gonna give you something because I just recognize you, I nama your stay. You don't gotta give nothing back to me. It definitely doesn't mean you don't gotta screw me over. That happens a lot too, but I got so much Pisces, I just get screwed over a lot. I do. Because I forget. I step out of that vibrational frequency of how fucking shitty it feels when they screw me over. I forget. And then I look at, I look at too much good in people. I see too much good in people. I did it my whole life. I have been kicked in the face and knocked down a flight of stairs because I let people get the best of me. Yeah. So these are how I had to learn my lessons. Anyway, so I want to make a place for travelers, that are priced out of society, that can't take all the guru, can't. I noticed like all these people that they just had talks and they gained this following for years, and now they're all going away from like readings and stuff to pay us and we'll teach you what we know. And that's okay, whatever. Money's not real. Your currency, if you're trying to earn that so you can earn things that aren't real, so you can buy a bunch of materialistic stuff as you're preaching how materialism isn't the way to go. I mean, it's whatever. It's just like a TV show with a bad plot. And I don't got to tune in. So I'm going to go create my own shit. I'm just going to work on creating a world that I want to, and make a travel center where travelers can come and work on their cars, do car repair outside, because it's snowing, man. Dude, fucking sucks having to change a hub. Because I was worked in maintenance when I was in the military. I almost died with a tow bar across my skull from slipping on the ice. God, man, the number of near-death experiences I have had. My angels are probably just, this bitch, man, fucking just stop. God willing, and the creek don't rise. I'm still here. So, so funny. I've had a miraculous life. My name is Mud. I like this song. This was the first band I went to when I was 15. Primus. I was 15. Mom, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. All right, bye. Bye. Mom, no, Mom. Mom, I was reenacting of the night I drove to Chico with my friends, 77 miles to go to a rock concert at Chico State. I love this bass line, man. It's my MK Ultra. My name is Mud. always wanted to play an instrument, but I disassociate. My brain is too compromised, I guess. It's so I have a hard time. Maybe things change. Maybe I could. Maybe I could pick it up. I always wanted to play the piano, but I wouldn't play it from sitting in front of it. I would play it from this way, like top to bottom. I saw somebody do that one time, and I was like, that totally makes sense in my brain. What's up? It may be difficult to determine what is up. I just said what's up, and my horoscope just came up. I love synchronicities. You don't know who Carl Jung is? Carl Gustav? And Edgar Casey are? And all those guys, because they tap into the no place space like I do. It may be difficult to determine what is up and what is down. Your mood may swing like a pendulum. You are feeling emotionally charged, and at work may be frustrating. Mom, I guess I'm not making chocolate eclairs today. That's me advancing at work, like doing something. No, I've made chocolate eclairs. I made chocolate eclairs when I was 15. That is not above my skill level. But we've been watching Emerald, so I'm getting my cooking bug back. And then I'm going to put a pull-out drawer in the back of my Suburban. And then I'll go to where just a bunch of homeless people are kicking it. I'm going to pull up and just quiet. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to pull up, start pulling out freshest and best ingredients, and just start freaking making gourmet food and plating it up and giving it to them right there. Pack up all my stuff, give them a couple magnets, throw around town, and be on my way. Because there's all kinds of ways to contribute to your own community. Because I'm not worried about anything out there. You know why I'm not worried about anything out there? Because in here is where I have peace. And they tried to create such a disruption in my field my whole life, so I had to work harder to keep my peace. But I've done a good job, because if you go and look at my name in all of the databases, you might find a DUI back in 1996, 7. Because I got a little bit of taste of freedom, and I let the ego do just all the stuff that I wanted to do when. And that's not God, good orderly direction. So I moved into a place where I just listened to the angel on my shoulder. And every time I listened to the little devil, I paid the consequences dearly of my actions. And so, and plus, being autistic and nacho neurotypical, Mom has tried to impress upon me principles and a personal constitution that dictates, to don't get in trouble, because it's easier to stay out of trouble than it is to get out of trouble. And I have hung on that since I was a little girl, so I feel so much combustion in me. They've been shooting stuff into my body that has been made in a lab since Mom was pregnant with me. And then when I was in the Air Force, after tried to kill me off by giving me 8 anthrax vaccines, but by testing, this was back in 2003, mind you. They've been testing these mRNA vaccines on military members. Any unsuspecting individual that's willing to take one for the team, the country, do what's right for everybody else over yourself, I did that, and I'm paying dearly because I'm trying so hard to keep my body healthy. And it hurt. I'm one of those people that, I move around. I can't sit still because I'm constantly in pain. So my medicine is CBD. And I don't know if I get to go to the store today. I'm without a car, have been for a few weeks. I don't know, lost track of time, really. Don't care, nothing out for me out there. But I wanted to, I made a batch of caramel the other day, and I nailed the texture. I'm like, this is the texture that I want. Unfortunately, I cooked it too long at too high of a temperature, and I burnt the sugar. And then I thought, oh, maybe if I warm it up again, I can melt it, add a little bit more creamer, and that'll take out the bitterness. No, that's not how that chemistry works. So it never solidified again. Like, it, because I brought it down to a lower temperature from the temperature, because it hit like 350. So it got, that's how I got the tip to. So what I need to do next time is bring it up at a slower, like, sled it, because I got this freaking lobster freaking turkey fryer outdoor grill thing, because my stove don't get to crackle territory temperature wise, so I had to get that. I love it. I just, we're getting to know each other, and there's so many different variances. So, like, you know, you don't need as much gas to pressurize the system because it's pressurized from the cold air outside, because water is density, because we just live in a fishbowl. We live in a fishbowl. You ever look up and it looks like we're in the belly of a whale? Like, it looks like ribs and stuff. Like, I'm taking pictures all the time. We're living in the belly of the whale. And I'm happy to help be a part of tearing down the algorithm, like I was talking about earlier, algorithm of the cave. Is that but see, I am a part of this. I'm the scapegoat in my. Okay, so here's the evidence that I have collected, unbeknownst to me. I didn't even mean to. This is what I found out in the last 5 years. When my dad turned 75, okay, last time I saw my dad's a machismo. He's like an Epstein guy. He even looks like Epstein. Like, people become what they are inadvertently. And so, for my 40th birthday, my brother and my dad bought a 3-night, 4-day excursion for me. They paid for my way, and then I had to pay for my plane ticket to get to Vegas and get home. But they paid for the trip for us to go down the Colorado River, Grand Canyon. So 12 years ago, this April or June, May, I got that experience, and they say that's the Nile. And I had an out-of-body experience the third night I was there. And I always know when the higher dimensional beings are, I'm in their presence, because I feel a sense of lethargy. Like being sedated without sedation. Like, and there's been times that when I've looked at the sky, sometimes inebriated, sometimes sober, that I've seen the craft move over my head. I have phoned, when I live in Flagstaff, I have a picture of my phone that I'm out on Bugle Trail Road, pitch black. Like, I was surrounded by elk one night, and I didn't even know it, but I could hear them breathe. It was so, I hope it was all shit. Who knows? Because you don't know what's in the darkness. We create we draw and attract and make what's in the darkness by how big our fear is. So stay calm is so important as you understand what happened. Like, when people panic, they hit the gas, other people shoot guns. Like, bad things happen when they disassociate. That's what they've been trying to make a freaking military monster out of me they've been trying to make me a monster because I'm the fit thrower. I throw tantrums. I act out when I feel my emotions. I let them out. They call it explosive behavior. I call it, I'm a passionate being. Because I'm not violent with it. That's the thing, is they think I'm a threat, because if they were to act like that, they would become violent. And those are the folks that you need to be leery of. The accusatories, the projectors. I've been the projector. These are how I know. I only see in others character defects that I have in which myself. Straight people like rainbows too. I'm autistic. This is how I always did the rainbow. And then later I found out Mom's Native American and Spanish. So this is the color wheel as I see it, because it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter like the title of your national, all these these terms and labels that it just creates division. What matters is what you do with what you are. That is what matters in the dash, which is the beginning and the ending of your life. So go out and impact somebody's life today. I'm going to get to. I'm so happy. I got a message this morning from the gal just going to give me a ride to the store, and I was like, yeah, last night she asked me to message her Thursday to check in, or I said, well, I'd like to check in later this week because she has kids. She's a mom. Like, people have lives. What you see here is what I try to keep myself entertained with hobbies and things like that. But I understand that people are way more active in the world than I am. And so I said, and so she said, well, message me Thursday, and then we'll touch base, and she'll have a better idea of what her weekend's gonna look out. I said, heck of a deal. So I messaged her, and then she had realized that she had an appointment that was gonna put her here later in the afternoon at like 2, which would put me at the store at a place that I really didn't want to be there then, because I get so overstimulated. But see, she's Virgo, so she's Earth, so when I'm around her, I'm like more chill, because she's the mom. Because when I was a kid, Mom was so stressed out, she couldn't be the grounding because she was so scared about losing me through the system. I'm feeling her fear. I'll get past it. That she couldn't be that grounding source for me. Plus, she's a Sagittarius. Dude, she's got a 5-planet stellium in Sagittarius. It's like every man for himself. But she's the best mom in the world for me, and I love her so much. And so, so I was like, okay, I can handle it, right? And then this morning I got a message that said, because it snowed today, plans changed for her so we could go to the market. And I was like, thank you, God. Good orderly direction, just keep doing the right thing. I try not to talk trash on the internet. People construe what I do as trash because I'm the contrary. I'm just like, so, but I say a lot of the same terms. So if you're out there on the internet and you see something like, this country's trash, I'm sorry for my service, understand the heart space in which it's coming from, and that's mine. Because I've been there and I saw the resources that are wasted. See, because they want me to be loyal to that entity, but I kept my loyalty and my love for every time I carried like who I was when I was a little girl with me through the military. So I had that experience through this receptacle. And Mom always went without so much. We always had to endure so much discomfort. And then to be a part and to see where all the money goes and what it's to help with what it does, it breaks my heart. I'll be right back. I'm coming, Mom. You got your shoes on? Oh, it's okay, baby. It's okay, honey bear. It's okay, honey bear. Go ahead. Go back. You just walked right past me. I didn't even hear you get up. You're quiet as a little mouse. Are you hearing my talk? Okay. I'm gonna turn your bangs. How's that? That sound good? having to get up when I'm done with my talk. Unless you want to get up now. You want to get up now?
Yeah.
Okay. Come over here and we'll just readjust.
Okay. You're so nice.
Don't tell nobody. You want to lay down or just get up?
Oh, this
Lay down?
Yeah.
Okay. Here you go. I'll cover you up. I know it's chilly, but as soon as you get under the blankets, you'll be all cozy dozy. Cozy little dozy. How's that?
That's nice. She likes it.
You like that?
Yes.
Comfy?
You're so
Hi, pretty
nice.
girl. On a bear, little dog.
You are so nice.
Don't tell nobody, Mom.
Okay.
That's how you win. When your mom has gone through had such a horrible life like Mom has, and to have so much gratitude, that's how people win. That's how people win, is just by freaking just having love in your heart and freaking sharing that with everything that is living. And it kind of makes my third eye kind of annoys me that I'm saying this. I kind of sound like people I've heard before, and I look at them because I'm an INFJ. So I do. I don't judge them. I judge the behavior that they're choosing. Yeah, I'm fucking judging them. They're choosing to do it. I get it mixed up. I judge people. Fuck it. You know, they judge me. I just treat people the way they treat me. Or maybe they treat me. Oh, accountability sucks. I have no idea what I was talking about for it. Mom snuck by the bathroom. Mom was born with 2 club feet, so she didn't walk till she was 3 years old, but her spirit was so determined she did it and cast up to her thigh. Not a body cast, just all the way up to her thighs. She walked with those little nubbin things on the wood. Do you see those in the movies? Yeah, they're based on real life people like my mom. But, you know, real life people don't get the credit near like the fake people do. It's so stupid. I hate it. The fakes are revered to the system perpetuators, the pawns. So, mom, see, because we've never been, they always made me a part of they wanted to indoctrinate me so I would be a part of a system where they would control people, but I am about the free spirit with self-constraints and discipline. And people like me don't need systems. And so more people are figuring stuff out like I had to figure stuff. We all figure it out at different times, different lives, different. It's the same game, you know. It's just different levels, different access, like Active Directory. Like some people aren't even allowed, they're dumbed down because they're not even allowed to see anything that's remotely related to the truth. I come from that family who wrote the textbooks. Then we go see them and I get to swim in their pool and I'd be like, man, you're rich. And they wrote, and she's the place that makes up, she worked at the place that made up the stories that tell people what they should believe. Allegory in the cave. So among all the, you know, 2 C-sections, Mom's like, on each foot she had, go girl honey, 3-4 tendon replacement, guinea pig surgeries. She was a scientific experiment in the 1950s. You know, not just that, but she had a prolapse, what they clinically call a prolapse rectum, where she strained too hard and basically her poop chute inverted, to put it in simple terms. And I didn't even have my license with that. And so I drove her to the hospital because she couldn't sit down. She had to prop herself up, sit sideways. So we took her to RMC, and then they did some surgery where they cut like 6 they're telling me this because I'm the only one that the doctor has. I'm the only family. My brother was off playing slap and tickle with his wrestling buddies. So it was just me. It was always just me. Just always me and mom. And so when she got her head slammed in the car door, it was the doctor talking to me. And so this is how I've learned about how the human body works in all of these instances for so many years. And so I left my phone in the bathroom. So after a week after mom had the first surgery, they said, there's lesions. We have to do a second surgery. Now, I go to a school in Nova, which is right up the street from the hospital. So I'm skipping school at 15, running down to get in the bed, to climb into bed and watch Golden Girls with mom and just, run back during my lunch hour and stuff like that. And so she was in the hospital that stay. It was 32 days. It was over a month. She almost died. Because I go in there and she's all connected and I just lay with her and I love on her. And as long as she knew I was there, that's how my higher power is with me. Mom kind of looks at me like God sent me as a representation of a soul sack that's going to take care of her, because God is supposed to work with people. People like me are supposed to help answer people's prayers, because people pray, and because people like me used to be the prayers that begged and pleaded to make the man stop hurting her. And then ultimately did, so there has to be something out there that's good that makes people stop doing bad things, right? Based on that account. So that's another time I almost lost Ma. So the fact that she's still here, 75, that's just because God gave me the strength, and I had enough heart and used my free will enough to align with what God would have me do, that I stayed out of the institutions that my brother gets paid. What's he probably up to now? Last year, or 2003, it was 240,000. So he's probably up to a good 250K a year now for writing letters. That's all he does. He's a programmer. See, he went from I just had this epiphany right now. He went from programming, being a programmer, the back end for the state of California, for being a programmer. He was in gate, all that stuff. I took all the tests too. We just moved around so much, and I would disassociate. Jerry would stay. Jerry's and he's the numbers guy. See, I failed math so much because usually there were time constraints to the test, which gave me extra anxiety and freaked me out. I only had so you put constraints on a person like me, and then I go on automatic pilot pretty much. And when people are disheveled that don't have as much training and life experience that I have, they react in ways that are less than useful, like we're seeing in the world now. Anyway, I gotta get going. I don't know what time it is. And I gotta get in the shower because I get to go to the store and get cream to make caramel. And I'm super excited about that. I have no idea what time it is on planet Earth right now, because I don't know where my phone is. Oh, it's where I always set it. Okay. 9:25. I'm pretty okay. Oh, I missed Joni Patrice. See, I get thumbs up, okay, thanks, I'm going to acknowledge your existence, but you're a weirdo, right? Like, I just get treated like such a piece of trash. And I'm not even a piece of trash. They just must not be very good judges of character. Because I just read what I said to Jodie Patry. Well, you get a thumbs up, right? Whatever. So that's why my channel will never be a big channel. Ever, 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 ever in life. Because like attracts like. And these people, they must have been freaking, I don't know. It's just so weird. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. I don't even get it. Like, why would you? That's just a thumb. That's just a thumbs up. Like, I was stationed. I gave the guy, if people, one of the main players, I just got to flip him off out the hang. Like, that should be a cool thing, right? But people are like, oh, but you were never a mechanic in the military. You never had to go to war. You never had to sacrifice any of your time in your life to not do other things because you knew that you had to do this thing over here because in the future, my whole future was set up when Mom got her head slammed in a car door. That set me up. Either I was going to discard her and go and be like my brother and successful in the state of California and screwing people over and freaking just basically, vacationing in South and Central America and Spain and Portugal, and never going and seeing your mom and all this stuff. Like, dude drove through New Mexico and didn't come and see us. Like, because he's such a horrible person that he wants to distance himself between me and Mom because me and Mom are good people. And my record stands. My record stands. His doesn't. The struggles that he watched me have with alcohol, like, he hated me. I wasn't invited to his practice wedding because of choices I made related to alcohol. And now I'm sober, and who's the guy that always has a beer in his hand in the picture now? The fun guy. The Virgo just does whatever he wants. He didn't learn from my sister who got killed in the car wreck that when you do whatever you want, consequences to your actions happen. Anyway, I've been rambling on for so long now. That's alright. God protects me under the veil of obscurity. And that's how I could tell when other people are like me, because, like, when somebody comes to my channel and becomes, like, known, like, they let me know that, hey, I'm here watching you in some capacity, I'll go to where they are, their channel, and see if they have content to see how we're like, what the frequential matches them to me. Where in the spectrum we connect. And I have, like, the best friend I never met, I found because when her husband died, she was in a very low place, and I was in a very low place, and we met in that place, but I knew I wasn't going to stay in that place because I had to pull myself out, and I knew what I had to do, and I just had to start doing it, and I did it, and here we are. How does that happen? How does a mother and daughter, the daughter who wanted to know where the adoptive mother was from her whole entire life without ever getting any clues, because Mom probably already knew, but she was so private and secretive, I was never privy to such important information. And then when in 2020 we moved from Salem, Oregon to Taos, New Mexico. And I'm like, why here? Because when we left, we went to Flagstaff and then ended up here because Flagstaff was a nightmare. And then we found out Mom was born 22 miles north of where we live. If that isn't God, just because I listened to my heart, connected with spirit, meditated, didn't drink, wasn't an asshole, yeah, I freaking talk shit here and there at people, but, that's still whatever. I still have freedom of speech. As long as I keep my hands to myself, I don't provoke people. I can say my piece, but I can't provoke people. Even though everything in me wants to provoke people. Because I get stoked. And that's what provocation is having a fire. What's up? And then putting more. I'm about ready to get off because I've been rambling forever. Get off the talk. They create energy sources. They create they make a fire, and then they put an event in the fire that stokes the fire. So they let people gather, and then something happens. All it takes is a pop. All it takes is just something little, and then somebody fear-based is gonna react to that outwardly, and then everybody that's fear-based is gonna. So it's like that bubble pop. That's pretty much what psychological operations are. I'm not saying real people don't die. I'm just saying real people die for no reason, good reason, just to get, more police. It's a play. It's a. They have playbooks. It's just they all think the same, and they're smart at some point, but then they start slipping and stuff because body's health, mind, body, spirit. They used it all up, and they haven't been doing good stuff this whole time to make up for all the shit. Yeah, they do good stuff, just like I do bad stuff. But the only thing is my bad stuff isn't, recognized as evil. My bad stuff is, what is my bad stuff? Like when women drag their ginormous husbands to the grocery store early in the morning just to be in the way of everything. They just have to be in the way. Have you noticed that? I've noticed that there's people that are doing something, and there's outside people that come in, and they just have to get in the way of production. It's that vibrational frequency. And unless people fine tune themselves, it's always it could always get worse. It could always be worse, and it's always going to get worse before it gets better. And all these sayings are always true, but people need to be careful about the words that they say, because we're creating reality by words. But it's also better if people do good. That's why I go out and I do these exuberant acts of kindness, just so people can see. Look at that fool. Yeah, look how generous that fool is. How come you're not generous? You have free will. You got 6 figures in the bank. You can't give no freaking homeless person, whether they want to use it for drugs and alcohol or not, just $100 so that they can have a day of doing whatever they want because they're in that position, because they don't have a whole lot of alternative choices, because in New Mexico, all the stupid cousins have the good jobs. Therefore, IT portals don't work. Therefore, answering services don't work. Therefore, people are getting paychecks like welfare to do jobs that they're not doing. And these are all the things that need to cease. But good thing with my IT background and my mechanical background and all the connections I've made in the world they're kind of like me, that I still know, that I can use for reference, because the older you get, if you're around long enough, you will find that the more you know, the less you know. And that is what I've come to find to be true also. That's about all I got for now. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a rad day. And peace.